Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 10 Tens channel. Indeed, I have 10 more things for you today. Invite a friend, invite a colleague, share this. I have a very important issue that I want to things on. This is a very crucial issue that is affecting us in many ways, especially those of us who are in church. You see, when you're a Christian young lady, you don't have the option of having sex before marriage. You do not have the option of giving birth before marriage. You don't have many options that people who don't fear God may think they have. You don't have the option of being a second wife. You don't have the option of being in a relationship with somebody's husband. Why am I saying all these things? You're telling me, but we know about these things. Really, if you do, then it means that you must know that the only option in life is to get your own husband. And it is not an easy undertaking. Why? Because we are in a culture where a woman cannot go out of her way to woo a man. It has to be subtle. And how many men have the sense to realize when a woman is actually throwing subtle cues? So what it means is that your only chance is to be the woman that the man wants, the man that you want wants. That's the only chance of getting him. And let me see some of the things that young women do that delays their marriage. So today the topic we're dealing with are 10 things that um, women, God-fearing women do which delay their marriages. 10 things that delay the marriages of God fearing women. Yes, that's the topic. 10 things that delay the marriages of, or 10 attitudes which delay the marriages of God fearing women. Remember, we're talking about God fearing women, not women on the street. The first thing, which is quite instructive, is that the women that when they are young and they are pretty and the rest, they are very, very, very unreasonable to men. A man proposes to them and then they mock the man, with words like, what do you think of me to propose to you? Am I your size? Am I your type? I mean, there's even an occasion where a woman is said to have cried because a man proposed to her. She couldn't believe that, the man could think of her so low to propose to her. Such pride. And such women, they don't get married because nobody wants a proud woman. So the first thing is, as I've said, is women who mock men who approach them. That thing will spread. He'll say it among his friends. It will scare others. And people's fear of approaching you and being mocked will keep them from approaching you. So that's the first one. The second one is that um, there are many women when they are young, just like their beauty that they think will never fade. They see every man who does not have what it takes at the time or who is not really well made. They see it as that is how the man is going to be for the rest of his life. But for many of these people, a man's present status at the time he is proposing is the only status you ever have in life. So many of these women reject men that could have married them just because the time they are not at the ideal status that they desire. The third reason is why a lot of God fearing women are still have their marriages delaying is because when they are at a certain age, yes, a certain age. In fact, according to sociologists and the rest, women, blossom and peak at the ages of 19, you know, and 21 they peak, and then all the way to 25. After that, it's all decline. And many of these times, when those periods are periods between post-secondary, when you're in the college, when you're in the university, or polytechnic. Unfortunately, it is at this stage in a woman's life that most women think that the way men are flocking to propose to them, that is going to be their lot for the rest of their life. Indeed, that thing can be further from the truth. Men flock around you around this time because at that time you are exceptionally attractive. Your skin glows and everything about you is just attractive. After 25, naturally you begin to fade. No matter how much you dress, you begin to fade. In fact, after 25, you even get surprised when people compliment your beauty because you yourself can see that you are not what you used to be when you were 21. So If you lose that opportunity in around 21 to 25 to have a man that actually loves you, a man that you also love, then you have blown more than 80% of your chances of getting married. Did I hear you say, I'm not God? Please listen to what I'm saying. Try what I'm saying and see whether you will not end up having your marriage delayed. Blow up the opportunities of your 20s up to 25, 26, and see whether you will find the man you want. So that was the third attitude which delays the marriages of God-fearing women. Then the fourth one is that most women erroneously, I don't know why, most women erroneously believe that any man that is attracted by their looks is interested in marrying them. No, more than 99.9% of a man's desire for a woman has nothing to do with marriage or commitment. If I leave the man will have it his way alone, his way is just mainly for sex. Women don't understand this about men, but a man's mind about a woman is more than 90% sex. And many of the commitments he makes initially start from the fact that he wants to have sex with you. And then after some time, it goes beyond that. And then he has respect for you and the desire to be with you. And then the friendship that builds afterwards, then encapsulate into a marriage. That is why if you marry a man and you make sex a less issue, that marriage will not last. If you marry a man, you deny him sex, no, because primarily for a man, sex is 90% the reason they marry. It's not anything. Sex. Get it. So that was the fourth reason. Don't take the compliment of men all over the place as people coming to seek your hand in marriage and assume that because people are saying they love you and the rest, it means they want to marry you. The two are not the same. So that you will be careful to pay attention to those who are desiring to marry you, or more than those who praise you every minute, every second. Those people you call romantic because they're always talking about how great you look and the rest. That does not mean they want to marry you. It means they have sexual interest in you. It means they find you attractive. And it's a normal thing. The same way they'll find girls attractive after you marry them. Now, let's go to the fifth reason. Um, and this is another great one. As I said, I alluded to it in the fourth reason. The fifth reason is that many God-fearing women misunderstand the the fact that when they are in school, in the colleges, in the universities, there is a concentration of men, several hundreds or thousands of them. And these are the men that have come from various, very small towns. And that their level of men, the kind of men that can marry them, drastically reduce once they go to their workplace or once they go back to their hometown. And that the best place to find a man that can really be the man that they can submit to is to find him amongst a lot of men so that you can compare him with a lot of other men. That is, it is counterproductive to say that you're going to leave this environment where you have a lot to choose from and go somewhere well and try your luck at a place where most of the men are married, or most of the men are far younger than you, or most of them do not even have the kind of status that you desire. So do not lose sight of the fact, the women who lose sight of the fact that being in school in a tertiary institution is one of the best places to have find a mate, have their marriages delaying, and it's all over the place. That's the fifth reason. And the sixth reason is that many women, and this is another very sad thing, you see a very classy, fine woman, and you ask yourself, how could this woman have, how could she have been bypassed by men who are married? No, she was not bypassed. No. The problem is that the kind of men she wanted didn't want her, or the kind of men she wanted were only interested in sexually using her. We're not interested in marrying her. So after that has been done, and then all the rest that could have married her have married, these men too have also left them, leaving them to the situation where they are now seeking for. Please do not fix your mind on men who do not find you good enough to be a wife. The men you should desire should also see you as a material for a wife. The men you see as being the ones that you want as husband should also find you as the woman they want to be their wife. Otherwise, you always be chasing men, giving them your virtue, giving them your time. And after everything is gone, they just one day use some flimsy excuse and go and marry somebody else. And then you are left there high and dry. And then you are better attending prayer meetings. Please stop following men who are not interested in you and give attention to those who are. That is the sixth attitude, the sixth reason that the marriages of God fearing men, women are delayed. Seven, many women, no matter how many times their mothers tell them, and I don't know, it's shocking. As I'm growing, I'm seeing how true that thing is. It's shocking that there's a very little window within which a woman is very eligible for marriage. Very little window, especially for marriage to a young man who's never married before or never had a child before. As I said, women can kill themselves all they want. A man hardly wants to marry a woman unless the woman sexually, stimulates him. That is why it's very difficult. It's very easy for a woman to marry a man she does not find sexually attractive, but it's very difficult, almost nearly impossible for a man to do that. A man will not be able to cope because a man, mostly, a woman is how she looks, and mostly a woman's looks or what makes anything of a woman is that she's sexually attractive. And the window, as I said, for that sexual attractiveness is very little. The rest you may do with makeup and the rest, but it will still not be as intoxicating as a young woman in her prime because the window is short. This one, we're not even talking about biological window, we're talking about attractiveness because it is short. Because once you move into the realm of the was once beautiful, most men are not interested in having you permanently in their life. They're interested in having you for sexual fun here and there, for helps here and there, but for taking you to their house as their bride, for spending a fortune to organize a wedding, unless you are in your prime. Otherwise, you need a great dose of the grace of God to get married to a young man. For an older man, because he's had his fun with a younger woman before, he may want to. For a widow, well, yes, but for a young woman. Therefore, don't waste that short window on expectations, unrealistic expectations of men that do not exist. Thinking of yourself more highly than you ought to think. So that was six. Seven actually. I think it was rather seven. That was the seventh reason. Now the eighth reason. There are some women that will tell, well, now that women are empowered and I want to decide when I get married and I want to finish this course. I don't want to have these issues with courtship relationship whilst I'm having this course. Please, I don't know. I'm yet to meet a man who married his wife because she was a graduate. That is never the that is never the mind of a man. For a man, the primary reason a man marries a woman is because she's pretty and that she is, you know, well brought up. That's basically it. The issue of a job comes in later. In fact, most men, if they could afford it, would not let their wives do work at all. It makes a man feel very less manly when the wife has to work so hard. It's the nature of men, and I'm being frank here with you. When a woman decides when she wants to get married, she must also decide when somebody comes to propose to her, since she's not ready to go and propose to a man. Now, since you're not the one deciding when somebody proposes to you, how then can you decide when you get married? And in most cultures, it's the man that proposes. So you therefore cannot postpone marriage in the time when you are most attractive, in the time when you are in your prime, and expect a man to come and propose to you once you have started descending in your appearance, which is the main reason men propose to women. So that's another reason. When women who say that they want to postpone marriage to after they reach a certain place in their career or to after they've had a certain height in education, that also delays the marriage of God-fearing women. Now, the um, yes, the ninth one is that. As I said, in most cultures, women's marriages are delayed because they don't have the chance to openly woo a man. Neither do they have the chance, otherwise they'll be seen as being cheap, as they say. Neither do they have the chance to determine when a man should come and propose to them. So it's left on them to find ways and means of letting the man find the need to come and propose to them, which is not an easy task. 'Cause they have to do with a lot of subtle things and the rest. One I heard one issue somewhere. I think she realized it was delaying, and then she realized she has to say something. So just told the man, "Are you the one coming, or you should wait for somebody else?" And immediately the man heard the cue, that word, he realized it was time to propose. Every woman, without exception, will want to. What they fantasize about when they were growing up was that a man proposed to them. A man said they were pretty. A man said he wanted to marry them. No woman wants to be the one telling a man to marry her. No woman. No, no woman. Not even the woman on the street. So you need to, if you're a man, you need to get the man to say something. And it's not an easy thing. And that's one of the reasons the waiting for the man to say something is one of the reasons marriage is delayed because many God fearing men are very afraid to be snubbed. So they might not say anything. And the only time they get to really say something is when they meet a woman who does not really mind, you know, pushing them and dragging them and enticing them into marriage. So be sure to get what you want at the time that you can get the best that you want. And the one other thing that makes a lot of God fearing women lose um, men that could have married them and it ends up in delaying their marriages, which is a very serious one, is that um, when they see a man right now, the attention is on um, what the man is going to bring to your life. In fact, for them, the man as he stands there now could not contribute anything meaningful to their life. In fact, they suddenly assume this role of prophets who can see into a man's life and determine that this man can fend for them or not. And then they conclude that the man's present status is for proof enough that he cannot take care of me in the future. And many women have done that and just scared away great husbands that they could have had, whose life turned around because they are not God, of course. So this idea of not praying about things and using a man's president status to determine whether it's good enough to be your husband is one reason a lot of God fearing women have their marriages delaying. And finally, oh, this is a lot of men will tell you it's amazing. Please, the fact that you are engaged does not mean you should be snobbish, you should be rude to all other young men. I'm not saying flirt with them. I'm not saying be compromising. No, I'm saying that be respectful towards every other man around you, even if you're in a relationship. Do not go around squeezing your face to everybody. Do not go around snubbing everybody, being rude to everybody. Because the day that relationship will break, nobody, nobody will be ready to step in. Because you made it abundantly clear that they were not men worthy of your respect. And since respect is fundamental to every man's desire to marry a woman, all of them will run like a plague from you. So be be committed to your relationship. Let men treat men with arm's length. May you treat every man with respect, with a nice warm smile. If your husband to be cannot handle that, then that husband to be is not a good husband. But that husband to be is going to stop a lot of your prospects. Unfortunately, in the world that we are in, most things men are in charge of them, and they're the ones that mostly will do you a favor. But if your smile is only to them, they read bad meaning to it. But if everybody around them believes that that is how you are, they will understand as your good nature. They're ready to help you. In the same way, many men will be ready to come in if in your fortunate situation that you lose your relationship. Otherwise, many of these women, once they lose the relationship that they were smiling up on, smiling about, the relationship for which reason they shun every man, then no alternative comes. And then that is the end of their marriage, and they don't get married even in their 40s. So these are the 10 reasons why, 10 reasons or 10 attitudes we delay the marriages of godly women. Please share with your friend. Don't be one of these. Don't become one of these ones. And learn from them so that I believe you'll thank him one day. So these are 10 reasons why you should not delay your marriage. God bless you for coming. God bless you for watching. Peace.